The true nature of our very being is to be in harmony. Greetings, friend. I'm so glad you're here today. So up until about 2:30 yesterday afternoon, I was going to share some ideas from the Taoist perspective on procrastination. Yes, it is a problem, but not today. Within a 15-minute time span, the world was turned upside down and inside out again. In Boulder, Colorado, we all know this. This is worldwide news now. At a popular grocery store, a gunman walked into the property and killed 10 people. Indeed, it is the act of the most horrific kind of violence. Violence literally means a behavior involving physical force intended to hurt, damage, or kill someone or something. It is a word that actually is quite old. It's been around since the 13th century. All the major religions teach that killing another human being is the most violent act of violence. It's the greatest of all. Christianity would say that it was the greatest of all sins. The Islamic religion claims that killing of civilians is never justified. Hinduism opposes killing, violence, and reverence, and believes in the spirit of nonviolence. And the Buddha would say killing another is an action that is neither wholesome or skillful. Lao Tzu, the great Taoist master, once wrote, "When many people are killed, they should be mourned and lamented. Those who are victorious in war should follow the rites of funerals." He also said, "Those who defeat others are strong. Those who defeat themselves are mighty." So, America has the highest rate on this little sweet globe of ours. It has the highest rate of massive shootings. 10 people walked into the grocery store yesterday. I've been there. It's not that far from my home. Never again to return to their home. 7 children lost their father yesterday in the line of duty. The world is riveted. And those who live in the state of Colorado, especially those who live in the Boulder area, have hearts that are hurting, minds that are angry, opinions that are flying. And once again, everyone is asking, why? Why is this happening? And I personally think in this case, why is not the question to ask. Because why will always lead us to, well, because. But we're not interested in the because. We're not interested in the why. Here's what I have come to believe about violence. That it is multidimensional. There's not one cause or one reason. Navigating through the acts of violence, the solution is never to turn our backs, never to go, I don't want to focus on it. I don't want to be a part of it. I. We all have to turn to each other and in a circle, really, that surrounds the globe, hold our hands, talk with each other, and take on violence. We have to keep our hearts and our minds open, our compassion large, and our intellect actively asking, how can we individually affect the change of violence? So there's a beautiful word in Sanskrit, and it's called ahimsa. And ahimsa literally means non-violence. And non-violence literally means the avoidance of violence. The avoidance of violence. The question to ask is, What can I do to create ahimsa in my life, in my community as a whole, and the world at large? I believe that there are 6 transformative things that you and I can do daily. And I also believe that we have to do them daily to create peace on this planet, to save humanity, to come from a high level of consciousness and respect. Number 1, understand that violence is multidimensional. It's not just one thing. A mixture of factors are known to contribute to violence, including destructive parenting, genetic and temperamental vulnerability, mood disorders, medical mimickers, and dual disorders, as well as effects of trauma, drama, abuse, neglect, brain injury, substance abuse, peer pressure, political control, and media overload. And that's really just some of them. Through our compassionate heart, we can understand, at least we can all do this, we can understand that anyone who is violent toward another human being is mentally ill. Because it is our nature to love. It's our nature to maybe not always like each other or not always want to be around each other, but it is our nature to love and be respectful. I know in a time like this, it's so hard to remember that. The second thing that we can do is come together with like-minded people and share our feelings and our thoughts and our fears and our concerns and express our emotions and talk everything out, pray together, meditate together, be silent together, plant trees together. Draw upon your spiritual tribe to give you the opportunity to share what's going on inside of you, and you be the voice and the heart for listening to what other people need to say. Number 3, contact your local politicians if you would like to see the laws changed around gun respect. That's a loaded issue. But let's go for gun respect. Number 4, study universal spiritual values such as oneness, respect for all living beings, compassion. And the earlier that we can learn to do this, the younger we are, the better it is. Paramahansa Yogananda once said, the sooner we can develop a spiritual life, the better it is, because life shows up in ways that are really difficult. We need to draw upon our spiritual nature, our spiritual beliefs. His High Holiness, the Dalai Lama, campaigns not only for an end to violent conflict, but for the particular role of youth in achieving it. We need to focus on our youth. We need to make sure that their needs are cared for, that they feel loved, that bullying is erased from any and all experience. There's so much that we can do. The great Dalai Lama wrote, love and compassion are necessities, not luxuries. Without them, humanity cannot survive. So take classes on spirituality, learn to meditate, study mental equivalence, study the universal laws of oneness. There's so much that we can do individually. But what we can't do is hang out in fear. And number 5, and this is the hardest of all, bravely and courageously ask, where in your own life are you not experiencing ahimsa? Boy, this is a humbling question. Where might you be a voice of shame and violence toward yourself? Is there a behavior that you need to change within yourself that is keeping you from experiencing peace and joy? We all have them. We're human beings. But where in your life are you experiencing ahimsa or not experiencing ahimsa? And now 6, ask yourself, is there something that I can assist humanity in transforming violence into ahimsa? Is there something that I can do? So there's an organization here called Urban Peak in the Denver area. And my husband and I, along with different communities, have had the privilege of serving this community. It is such a beautiful program. Find a place where you can go and give to the vulnerable people in our lives, in our societies. So what's happening now is there's a group of small metaphysical churches in this area, and we're coming together and we're planning on all of us coming together, donating money and time and energy and talent to create wonderful meals for these kids who live on the streets. I've seen them. They're beautiful young people. And the thing about the people, the kids that are living on the street, their stories are amazing. But you know what's cool about them? They have hope. They still have hope in their heart. So as many of you know, I am the senior minister at the Center for Spiritual Living, Boulder Valley. It's the valley that Boulder is in, that we're all in together. One of the things I'm going to ask my congregation to do is this spring, I'd like to all of us pitch in, buy 10 trees in honor of the souls that have crossed over from this shooting and go and plant them together. I don't know where. I'm sure somewhere in the mountains we'll be allowed to do that. But all of us contribute. Go plant a tree. Go plant a bush. Go do something that uplifts the consciousness of humanity. It will help you so much heal. So I want to acknowledge what a really tough week this is. And now we're moving into a time where we're going to start hearing about the people who have been shot and killed. I think this is the hardest. While it's shocking to hear that there's been another mass shooting, when we start to define the people that just ran in for a gallon of milk or a drink at Starbucks at King Super, who knows why they were there. But we are asked to understand that there's a mystery in life that we don't get to understand. We don't get to understand. But here's what we can understand. Violence. It is a very, very difficult and challenging subject to talk about and experience. It is multidimensional. There's not just one solution. Violence can never, ever be healed or solved at the level of violence. That is my core belief. Violence will never be solved at the level of violence. So please take care of yourself this week. Spend some time in ahimsa, in quiet thoughtfulness. Share your feelings. Reach out to your churches or your temples or your mosques or whoever you need to reach out to. Certainly contact us at the Center for Spiritual Living in Boulder Valley. We are here to love and support. Let us give a blessing to the 10 people that left yesterday this planet. And let us also find some compassion for the man who walked into King Super and shot the 10. I think 3 were done in the parking lot. Let us find some compassion. There's mental illness there. I wish you all much love. I wish you all much peace and joy this week. Take care of yourselves, and thank you for joining me. the true nature of our very being is to be in harmony.